So in this verse, the pathway leading to Vaikuṇṭha, that path is extolled by all great liberated souls. So Prabhupada in the Purport mentions to glorify the Lord, to engage in devotional service, to appreciate the activities of the Lord, it's only possible by the devotees. And conditioned soul who is under the influence of the three modes, it's difficult for him to understand and appreciate. And then Prabhupada also explains that to be a devotee of the Lord and to engage in devotional service is not easy. In the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Sometimes we also, when we meet people, we ask them to chant Hare Krishna. It's not easy for people to take up because they're badly conditioned, badly entangled. If we are getting an opportunity to chant 16 rounds and that in the morning, it's a big opulence. Otherwise, material energy is so powerful, so powerful. The name doesn't come out. One gets so entangled, so bound, so conditioned. Srila Prabhupada in one place, he was giving a bhagavatam lecture on the 6th canto, where he was mentioning about Ajamila. So there he mentioned that we know the typical, the question which Parikshit was asked about atonement, prayaschitta. We suffer because of sinful reactions, and ideally we should atone, do prayaschitta to nullify the sinful reactions. So then Parikshit Maharaj inquired from Shukadev Goswami that this atonement process, if the heart is not clean, then is it not like the bathing of an elephant? One atones for the sinful acts, what he has done, the reactions, and then again he commits the sin. Just like the elephant goes to the water body, takes a bath, gets cleansed, and again he puts dust on his body. So in this connection, Prabhupada explains, how is chanting different? Chanting also burns the reactions of our sinful deeds. In India, just like Kumbh Mela, people go to Haridwar, people go for bathing in Ganges. So that culture is there. People are aware of sinful reactions. People are aware of moksha. People are aware that how bathing in these holy rivers is very auspicious. One can wash the sinful reactions. So Prabhupada explains, chanting not only burns to ashes the sinful reactions, but it also purifies the heart. It is the impure heart because of which we have a tendency to commit sinful activity. So chanting not only nullifies the sinful reactions, but also purifies the tendency, the desire to commit sinful activities. That's why when we came to Krishna consciousness, we took up chanting, everyone around us noticed a very big change in us. Our friends, the way of how we used to spend time, the activities which we used to enjoy, movies, going to for eating some restaurants, suddenly changed. And it was a noticeable change. If you all can recollect, your near and dear ones would have made some comments, at times sarcastically. When I was in second year in college, in third year, in fourth year, there was a person, I still remember his name, because people started teasing me by that name. His name was Minocha. Surname was Minocha. He was the gold medalist in the whole batch. Very intelligent. And whenever, second year I had just come in touch with Krishna consciousness, whenever we would pass from the hostel in which he was staying, his room, we would go to that, it was called Khokha. Khokha is where go and take tea, coffee and all the snacks after college hours. So I would pass by his room and I was always impressed. He would be, just like you have that Bhagavad-gīta, that wooden thing, stand. He would have that and he would be reading. Could be academics, could be Bhagavad-gīta. The table lamp would be on and he would be reading. And he was quite different, visibly different. He had a short hair. He would mind his business, in the sense not gossiping around. You will not see tea, coffee, taking here, there. College, studies, come back, study, limited friend circle, very focused. And deep within I was impressed with him. But he had limited friend circle. Like I was mentioning, when you come to Krishna consciousness, suddenly there is change. So one time there was a inter-college race. He won the race. See how he was very good in all disciplines, including academics, including extracurricular things. Because very focused, no distractions, no talking about girls, going here, there, frivolous talks. So he won the race, and after winning the race, generally, you would have seen they have a victory lap. Suppose somebody wins, they'll take the flag of their country and they'll walk. They will run one more circle with that flag. It's called victory lap. So I still remember he had already, probably he was aware that he will win. Big Hare Krishna one, this thing was their flag. And he, went around one more circle, Hare Krishna. And good thing about him is he was not shy. Doesn't care what people would say, people would tease. Hare Krishna. Boldly declare, yes, I am Hare Krishna devotee. So I was very impressed. And then he passed out. And then I slowly started picking up Krishna consciousness. People started calling me Minocha. And I would feel very, scared, hurt. They're teasing me, they're passing sarcasm. So sometimes I would very, without informing them, if I go to temple, they say, "Kahan gaye the?" I say, "I had gone to meet somebody." I would hide things because they would tease, pass sarcastic remarks. The reason why I'm making is that change is very, very visible. So Prabhupada says that chanting not only burns to ashes the sinful reactions, it also burns the sinful desire, the tendency to commit sin. Then Prabhupada said, but he qualified this statement. All of you may say, yes, we are also chanting, but still we have tendency. Still sinful tendencies are there, still lustful desires are there, still mistakes are happening. Why? Then Prabhupada qualified after making this statement. But. Can anyone tell what did? After but, what? But one has to be patient. And then Prabhupada, quoting his own example, it took me 30 years, Prabhupada out of humility is saying, it took me 30 years to chant with love and devotion. Although Prabhupada out of humility may be mentioning this, but one has to be patient. In another instance, Prabhupada mentioned, in the last life I was a doctor who led a life, fully pure life, sinless life, and because of which in this life I have become a devotee and got opportunity to engage in devotional service. So this freedom from sinful desires, this purification also, for sure it is happening. Initially when we came to Krishna consciousness, Krishna gave a glimpse. But then we have to sincerely work for it. We have to be sincere. We have to be obedient. We have to follow the process diligently. Sometimes, initially we are sincere and serious. Later on we become casual. We mechanically do things. Initially there were a lot of hurdles, so we were craving for it. But now it's easily available, we lose value. Something which is difficult to obtain, people are craving for it. It's easily available, lose value. So we have to be sincere, we have to diligently follow, we have to chant attentively, as far as possible, with love, with devotion, and then all the sinful tendencies which are there will be burnt. So we have to be patient. Utsaha, dhairya, nischayat. Utsaha means enthusiastically follow. Conditioned soul, we all are conditioned, all are conditioned souls. Lot of conditioning, lot of anarthas, lot of sinful desires. But we can become liberated, we can become nice devotees. Sincerely follow. Once a devotee, she was cooking for Prabhupada when Prabhupada was in Bombay. So she was from US, so she had gone for a trip to the US, back to the US for a few months. So she went to the US and there she was shocked. Devotees are going for book distribution to the airport with wigs in pants and shirts. Because there was a time when the Hare Krishna devotees, book distribution, they were banned. because a lot of people had complained they were being forced. So they would go dressed in pants and shirts. Nobody will know Hare Krishna. So different ways, different things were adopted how the book distribution can still happen. And as book distributors, we all know there are always some hot spots where, just like Khatu Sham temple, everyone goes there. So even airports during that time, in America, the airports are very different. Everyone, even a sweeper will travel by aircraft, just like here, every sweeper will have a mobile phone. And there are people who do up-down in aircraft. They'll go morning by flight, work, and come back in the evening by flight. It's very common. And so all the airports quite busy, and many airports. When I went to the US, so I was supposed to take a flight. They said it's a very small airport, very limited flights, they told me. So in my mind came, just like Udaipur, there's an airport. So I was a small airport, very limited flight. That airport has 15 terminals. It is bigger than, Bangalore airport, bigger than the biggest airports in India. And they say it's a very small airport. So the point, these airports were the hot spots where devotees would do book distribution. Because everyone is in the airport. Otherwise you will not find, everyone is in the car or they are in the office. It's not like, Jawhari Bazaar or something, everyone is shopping. No, nobody is in the street. Airports, everyone is there. So they would go and they would try book distribution, and then slowly over a period of time, this Hare Krishnas, they were banned. So devotees would wear wigs, pant and shirt, they would go and still distribute books. So this Mataji, when she saw, she was shocked. And then she started, this is not done, this is cheating, how can we make up like this? How can we be duplicitous and all that? So she, started criticizing and all that. This is not correct. We should be ethical. And then she came back to India. And then she was very disturbed, visibly disturbed. And she went to Prabhupada. She was waiting when she will come back and report to Prabhupada what is happening, so that Prabhupada would chastise and correct them. So she came to Prabhupada. She was very disturbed. So Prabhupada, I want to speak to you. Yes. So she said, Prabhupada, they are wearing wigs. They are, dressed up in pant and shirts. They are making up things. So Prabhupada heard her. And then Prabhupada said, are you perfect? So that Mataji, she was saying, says, no Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada said, they are trying their best. They are doing what best can be done to distribute books. You mind your business. Continue cooking for me. So, many times, like we were talking about conditioned soul, becoming liberated, becoming devotees, we are chanting. Chanting will purify us of sinful tendencies, but there is also a mad elephant offense. What is mad elephant offense? Vaishnava bṛhat. What is Vaishnava bṛhat? Criticizing, blaspheming. Many times we evaluate things based on our limited experience, our own understanding of what is right, what is wrong. No doubt we have Prabhupada books, but many times everything is not within we should not be arrogant that everything I should be able to understand, and only if it is okay as per my understanding, then it is okay. Otherwise it is not okay. You see, this is arrogance. If I feel it is okay, then it is okay. If according to me it is right, then it is right, otherwise it is wrong. This is arrogance. In other words, everything has to be as per my understanding of what is right. Every decision, every policy, everything has been, the decision which has been taken in the temple, it is right only if I feel it is right. And as we know, maturity means as we grow, our understanding changes, our opinion changes. When we were, before coming to Krishna, what was our understanding of what is right, what is wrong? Our understanding was going behind girls is right, enjoying life like this is right, smoking and drinking is right. That was our understanding. But our understanding changed. As we became more experienced, as we learnt more, as we understood more. So Prabhupada said, are you perfect? Once Jesus Christ, in front of Jesus Christ, there were a lot of people, throwing stone at a lady. And that lady was completely, blood all over the body, and everyone was throwing stones at her. And finally, she was in such a bad state, she just, it was right happening in front of Jesus Christ. And then she came and completely fell at the feet of Jesus Christ, held his hand, said, please save me, please save me. Then Jesus covered that lady with his body so that if anyone throws the stone, it falls on him. And he said, stop. They said, you have all right to throw stone. You have all right to throw stone on this lady. But only those, why they were throwing stone? Because she is immoral. She is having affairs with many men. She has. So says, you have all right to throw stone. She is, according to you, she is a sinful lady. You have all right to throw stone. But only those who are sinless, who have never committed any sin, who have never done anything wrong in life, they are qualified to throw. Everyone fell silent. So we are conditioned souls. We ourselves are imperfect. We ourselves are making so many mistakes. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, look within, amend yourself, rather than looking into the shortcomings of others. Look within, mend yourself. We should be humble enough. We are conditioned. We have many anarthas. We have limited experience. We are under the influence of modes of material nature. So therefore, we should limit it. If duty is given, we find faults. Otherwise, we mind our business. So once Prabhupada, he was in Bombay, and next to his room there was a kitchenette. Kitchenette means small place where little bit cooking can happen. So devotees would cook for Prabhupada in that small kitchenette. And it was next to Prabhupada's room. And sometimes, the next room you can hear what's going on. So one Mataji cooked in the morning. After that, a devotee came in, and then he was supposed to cook for lunch for Prabhupada. So he came in, and then few other devotees also walked in, and they were talking while the cooking was on. So after these other devotees went away, Prabhupada called. His name was Upendra. Prabhupada called him, Upendra, please come. So Prabhupada was very disturbed. He was very disturbed. He says, what were you doing? He says, Prabhupada, cooking. What were you doing when other devotees came in? because Prabhupada had heard what all they were talking, what all they were discussing. So then Prabhupada said, this gossiping will ruin our movement. It will destroy our movement. So another thing which we have to worship, which you have to be cautious of. Here we are talking about how chanting will purify our heart, but we have to be patient. But what will reverse the process? Reverse the process means the purification will stop. We all noticed so fast purification when we came in. But sometimes we can also feeling, anarthas are still there. I'm chanting, I'm doing all this. There's no visible change happening. Because initially when we came in, we were not committing sins. We were not committing Vaishnava bṛhat. We took the process. Once Ramajacharya, he was walking and then he took some prasadam, mahaprasadam, and threw it in the water. And all the fishes ate that mahaprasadam. And the devotees could see the fishes transforming and going towards Vaikuṇṭha, getting spiritual bodies and going towards Vaikuṇṭha. So one devotee who was accompanying Ramacharya, daily we are eating prasadam. But still we are here only. And these fishes, they just ate and we are seeing transformed and getting spiritual bodies going to Vaikuṇṭha. So this Ramacharya said, because they are not committing offenses. As I mentioned, when we are in community of devotees, we have great association of devotees. But there is also a demerit. If we are not cautious, we'll commit offenses. So, Prabhupada said, gossip, it will destroy our movement. Gossiping, rumor mongering, idhar ki baat udhar, udhar ki baat idhar. You know what he did? And we all can make big mistakes if we are not cautious. Comes to our knowledge. Ideally, it should fall in 3 buckets. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is fact. It is true. It is a fact. This is one bucket. Anything we listen, ideally should fall in 3 buckets. Yes, it is true. Yes, it's a fact. This is first bucket. The second bucket is, what is the second bucket? It is false. It is wrong. This is the second bucket. What is the third bucket? It may be true, may be false. Only a disciplined mind, that way the judges are trained. That's why they follow a very structured process. That's why there is witness box, there's examination, cross-examination. They follow a very structured process. I give this example of Kasab. When the order was given that he has to be hanged, 700-page judgment came, 700-page judgment. Whereas you have a CCTV footage of he with AK-47 rifle killing people. that he is guilty of killing people, the judgment was 700-page document. After a very structured process of concluding and passing the judgment that he is guilty. It was based on eyewitnesses. They were called there. This thing was noted. Then advocates, they argued on behalf of Kasab that how he is not guilty. Everything was noted, and then after that the judgment came in. Many times when we, especially why gossip and rumor mongering is very dangerous, more so in a community. Why it is dangerous? Because we are not disciplined in our thinking. We don't have the time to follow a structured process to process whatever we hear. Why Prabhupada said gossip will destroy the movement? Why? Because when we hear something and we are not disciplined, and Prabhupada even in the place one said they are Kali Chelas. He says our movement will not be destroyed by outside but people from inside. He called them Kali Chelas. So we hear something, somebody is in Maya, somebody is an agent of Maya, we hear something and we don't have the structured process, the disciplined mind to, it is true, it is wrong, it may be true, may be wrong. Generally when we hear this, it is either true or false. Is it? Is it? Then we believe. And if empty mind is there, it doesn't limit there. We become also a channel, broadcast station. We start speaking. Start relaying what we have heard. And as a result, we jeopardize. That purification, that anartha nivritti, that all that sinful tendencies will be washed away. We have to be patient. That whole process stops. And then we also commit offenses because we become a channel, we become a medium to further propagate those rumors. Now somebody may say, how to assess what is rumor, what is this thing? That's why Prabhupada said we should just be busy doing our services. Empty mind is a devil's workshop. Just mind your business, do your service, unless you have been told. We should understand here talks about the devotees, they saw Garuḍa flapping, the path extolled by the great devotees, the path back to Vaikuṇṭha. We have come for that, to become devotees, to go back to Godhead, to get freed from the cycle of birth and death. We have exalted goals. Therefore, some discretion is also required. We have to be careful. Krishna has given us intelligence. We have to be careful whom we are associating with, what we are hearing. Gramya katha is for a conditioned soul, it's full of rasa. That's why when we sometimes read Prabhupada books, we feel sleepy. There is no taste. Gramya katha, there is taste. Why there is a taste? Because we are in a diseased state. If we are a pure devotee, Gramya katha will be very tasteless, will be repelling. Prabhupada gives the example of swans and crows. When there is filth, dirt, some dead body, the crows flock there. So gossiping, rumor mongering, criticizing, blaspheming, it's very attractive, full of rasa for a conditioned soul. And we all are conditioned souls, trying to become devotees. So, once Srila Prabhupada, he was, in initial days, he gave sannyas to many devotees. We know they were young devotees, 2.5, 3 years old devotees who got sannyas. So there was one devotee, Prabhupada had earmarked him for sannyas. Prabhupada was training him for, giving him sannyas and making him a sannyasi. So one day, he approached Shyam Sundar. Shyam Sundar Prabhu was the secretary of Prabhupada. He wanted to meet Prabhupada to discuss about his sannyas. So Shyam Sundar he asked him, you never get any thoughts of sex or lusty thoughts? You never get any such thoughts? You are confident that you will be able to be a good sannyasi? So after hearing him, he said, no, sometimes those thoughts come. So then he says, if these thoughts come, lusty thoughts comes, better you get married. Think about it. I'll not say anything. You think about it. Better to get married. If these thoughts are coming, then better not take sannyas. So whole night he could not sleep. He was supposed to go to Prabhupada's room, discuss about his sannyas. And then here he is saying, if you get lusty thoughts, you should get married. So whole night he could, and not only he could see, we started, mind is a crazy thing, started planning which brahmacharini in the temple. If I have to think in that direction, who could be the right person? So whole night he is thinking about, brahmacharinis and whom to get married to, why to get married to, all that. And next day morning he came to Shyam Sundar and said, I think I have decided, better I'll get married. So Shyam Sundar was happy. And then he said, okay, go and meet Prabhupada. So this devotee went and met Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said, yes. He said, Prabhupada, I have decided to get married. What? Prabhupada was visibly very disturbed. Who told you this? Then Shyam Sundar was standing there. So then he said, Prabhupada, I was asked that if you get lusty thoughts, if you think of sex, then you should not take sannyas. So Prabhupada, who told you this? Then he looked at Shyam Sundar. Then Prabhupada said, everyone gets lusty thoughts. Everyone gets thoughts related. Sometimes we are in a wrong paradigm that thoughts will not come. Lusty thoughts. Even for a devotee, thoughts will come, but he will not dwell on those thoughts. He will not give his attention to those thoughts. Dhyayate vishyan pumsa. He will not do dhyayate. He says even a devotee will get lusty thoughts, but he knows how to control his mind. And then Prabhupada chastised Shyam Sundar. Who are you to tell my devotee to tell my brahmachari to get married? He chastised that. Who are you to tell my brahmachari to get married? So many times, again, we have to be cautious. Whom are we associating with? What are we listening? Whose advice we are taking? We have a glorious purpose for which we have joined. very noble goals we have. To purify, to become a devotee. He says, liberated soul cannot appreciate devotional service. To engage in loving devotional service, chant the holy names with love and devotion, purify our hearts, go back to Godhead. This is a noble goal for which we have joined. We have to be careful. We should not miss the wonderful opportunity we have got. Sometimes when I see young babies, I feel, Kali Yuga, as time progresses by, how things will, with all the wars happening and so much of toxic, contaminated consciousness around, I feel as time progresses by, the force of Kali Yuga will further increase. There's a visible difference between the life we used to live way back in 1990, just 20-30 years back. Today there's a news, government is going to put 4 lakh free Wi-Fi hotspots. Unlimited internet. So times are changing. So we have got this opportunity. We have got the good sense. We have come in touch with Prabhupada. We have the most highest, the most purest philosophy. Let's not waste this opportunity. We'll stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.